The way I hear you speak, I use the word eloquence, but it is authentic. And there is something where you've been able to distill. You've been able to distill all the dissonance and the mess. And there's always something to be grateful for. There's always something to be had. There's always something that you can move forward. And I just, I think this will be really useful to people listening to this podcast if you can just share some of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I was writing down a couple of things there because I just wanted to. There's two buckets of thought that I would share. And the first one is a takeaway from my Unilever days, and it's a quote by an author, a therapist, and a Holocaust survivor called Viktor Frankl, who very famously wrote Man's Search for Meaning. And the quote attributed to him is, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space lies a choice. And in that choice lies your growth and your freedom." And that's always resonated with me. And I think it probably resonates with everybody if you actually think about the words. We have a choice. You mentioned gratitude and compassion. And, when situations aren't going your way, or, if we're in a position of conflict with another person, we always have a choice about how we receive that and how we respond. Now, sometimes that choice isn't easy, and with my neurodivergent hat on and a slightly limited prefrontal and executive function, that choice can be smaller, but nevertheless, I can choose whether to respond with gratitude and compassion. And when I reflect back on that time at Unilever, that was always my intention, was to try and do that. I found it destabilizing, and I didn't always get it right, but it really sustained me, was to keep going back and to be the most authentic version of me that I could be. I can't control anyone else, Maria, but I can control myself. And it is exhausting. And I think that definitely contributed towards the overall exhaustion that I felt at the end of that period, because I was as determined as I could be. That was my intention, was to be my authentic self. And the second one is, it's really simple. I am enough. And that's something that I've carried with me for quite a few years now. And we had a retreat, connections retreats last year. We did a pilot, the idea of let's bring people together and let's explore what are those connections to sustainable happiness, to meaning. When we talk about resilience, what are the things that will sustain us on our life's journey? And it was a brilliant couple of days, and hopefully we'll do 2 more this year. But the WhatsApp group that I set up afterwards was called I'm Enough. And I think just recognizing this is not about saying I'm finished my journey. This is not saying I don't need any more personal development. This is not saying those things. What it's saying is that I am enough as my authentic person. And I shouldn't be looking at other people and thinking, if only I could be that person. Because I can be world class at being me. And Maria, you are world class at being you. You're fantastic. If I try and be you and you try and be me, I think it would be quite funny. It'd be like a comedy show, Maria, but I don't think we'd be very successful.